Clickety clack. It's like when you're on with Verizon or Xfinity and they give you the fake AI clicking keyboard in the background. That just
oh yeah.
Exactly.
We know you're not typing, Jessica.
Irate, dude.
Yeah. What happened, Steve? What's going on?
Do we want to start it now? Or are we gonna? You want to do the intro music first? What do you want to do, Mike?
Well, I mean, if you're pissed off about Tottenham Hotspur, we can talk about that, but we can talk about other things too. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me, how we drive this thing.
Dude, I want to put these guys on full blast like this.
All right, let's just start out then by saying, unfortunately, our special guest has been double booked, and that's fine. We'll give him his flowers at the end, and maybe give him a little shit along the way too. But the one great thing, really about this this one podcast that we're doing here is that Dad is back.
He's not special, but he's here. What's up, boys?
I mean, I guess nothing.
You know what happened?
What happened?
I fucked it up.
So you were trying to tee up the music, right? With the Dad's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been solid, man.
It's going to be solid when you hear it on audio, but not on the video. It's fucked up.
All right.
Oh, boy.
That's okay. We're going to do it again.
Well, only Adam's watching anyway, right? So it's all good. What's up, Adam?
If maybe.
What time is it?
There we go.
It's time for Rick at Spursy.
Hey, it's Wicked Spursy.
Steve
forgot his cue. We're all off kilter today. Steve forgot his cue.
I thought I wasn't sure if Dave wanted to do it. I don't know.
Well,
it's not that I forgot my cue. I wanted to be respectful of the OG.
Mike, Steve, and Dave. Just want to throw that out there. Hey, can I say the music, the intro music? Listening to it live, it kind of gets you hyped to record, right? Number one. And number two, very interesting time capsule for both of our speakers on that song. I think that's pretty cool how we have the two little fellas with their voices captured for all posterity in that. That's kind of cool.
I know, because now Lucas is like, every time I ask him something, he's like, I don't know.
Yeah. He's like, what, Dad?
Yeah. Well, I was that team sucked. They're terrible. They're terrible. We should have killed them, but 4-0's fine. His voice is deeper and raspier than mine. Raspier than mine, and it's a little off-putting to me.
Is it cracking like Peter Brady back in the day? Is he?
No, he's done. He's done with all the cracks. He's just like he's
some kind of like TikTok eat gravel trends that I'm not aware of. Is there?
No, it's just because he was like, from the day he was born to like 7 months, just fucking screaming nonstop, screaming. So now he's got, the raspy voice. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, Mike, Steve, and Dave. Look at this. Dad is back. In all of his glory, full beard. With the 3 beards are here. It's wonderful.
Nice.
And it's a Thursday afternoon. I've got a Guinness on board
or something.
I've got a Guinness going down right now. I'm canceling all my meetings for the afternoon. Actually, I'm off until Wednesday. So,
wow.
Cheers.
You don't have to cancel. You could have them fully loaded on Guinness and really have a good time.
It's inappropriate. I'm meeting with, those meetings were with members, with union members. So that's inappropriate. If I was meeting with like the hospital management,
administration, that appropriate?
Yeah, that would be appropriate because you need to drink if you're going to be on meetings with them. Yeah, but guys, it's great to have you back. We were supposed to have Wendy on today, and so he was double booked and unfortunately can't join us. He has promised to join us another time, and it's fine. But we do have some stuff to talk about, and especially with Dave because Dave hasn't had a chance to weigh in on how he feels like this first like third of the season is going. So do we want to drive this car right off the cliff right now, or do we want to talk about we haven't talked about Everton, and we haven't talked about yesterday's match, so which were two different, very, very different matches in my estimation. So how do we want to do this?
I'd kind of like to hear what Steve's got going on. To be frank,
that's true.
Let's set the tone. Let's tee our boy up. Ooh, to be Thomas Frank, yeah, tee him up and let's start rolling that way.
I am so glad you asked me that question because I have been dying to explain my level of irritation right now. And it's, for the record, for those of you who are interested in Tottenham Hotspur and you don't really give a shit about what goes on in my personal life, you can probably fast forward now because my irritation isn't directed towards Spurs. My irritation is directed towards the Full Stride hockey program out of Vermont.
So, coming in hot.
Let me contextualize, and I want to repeat this name because I'm going fucking full blast right now. This is Full Stride, a hockey program out of Vermont. And let me just preface this with the description of the program that I signed my son up for. And I would like just before I even explain the shit show, what you think would happen based on this description. Okay, so I'm going to read it. This is directly from, again, Full Stride. And it says, this program is for kids between the ages of 5 and 12 who want to learn to play hockey. Participants will learn the basics of skating, as well as the basics of puck handling, shooting, and passing. Now, gentlemen, what do you expect, given that description, would happen in a program like that?
Sounds like the very first soccer program I put my daughter in fact, Lily. Brought her there, and I assumed it was a bunch of 5 and 6 years old, 6-year-olds. These kids were fully ingrained in knowing the terminology of soccer and knowing what it was. I had signed Lily up for this spring program. Didn't know it was like a travel program because I didn't know much about the world of youth soccer at the time. Brought her down there, and they were screaming and hollering at her. Mark your man, like screaming, and she's never played soccer before in her life. So she's just kind of wandering around. And then the coach came up after having done no coaching and said, yeah, I don't know if your daughter's right for this program. We might have to cut ties. So she got cut. And I said, oh, no, I'm cutting ties with you because of your attitude. And I didn't like the way you didn't coach her when she didn't know what she was doing.
Yeah, that sounds about accurate. So let me explain what happened yesterday while you all were, and I'm going to use this term sarcastically, while you were enjoying the Newcastle match. I was watching this. I hesitate to call it practice, or I don't have a good word for it. So we get there. It starts at 4:00. Okay. The head coach, the owner of this program, doesn't get on the ice until 4:15. So for 15 minutes, the assistant is out there, and you've got like a dozen or so kids, and all they're doing is aimlessly skating in circles for 15 minutes. Now, I think that the assistant would be, okay, well, let me use this time to help people out with their skating. Some of the kids were clearly struggling and really trying to find their footing on the ice. Nothing. He was having his good time playing with his hockey stick by himself, skating in circles around a dozen other kids, doing nothing. And then, so a head coach shows up, owner of this fucking program, and I think, okay, well, at least now the structure can start, right? Like, he's getting the kids together. He's going to explain what's going to happen. They're going to get started. And that's kind of what happened. He explained, this is what we're going to do. And then he started skating in circles around the kids. And these kids have no idea what's going on. They're, again, aimlessly wandering around. You know, you can't hear what he's calling out. So if he's assigning directions, you can't hear it. And, you know, when he's done, he just stops everything and brings them all together to move on to the next thing. And this was 45 minutes of him doing this. I didn't see a single coach approach a child until 10 minutes before the program ended. There was no one-on-one, hey, you know, buddy, you're not doing this right. Let me show you how to hold a stick. Let me show you how to, you know, skate properly. There was nothing. It was just two grown-ass men for 50 minutes skating in circles before they even bothered talking to any of the children. I was so pissed off that I called and I left the guy a voicemail and I said, hey, you know, I just really was not happy with what I saw. In fact, I think I told him I was disgusted with what I saw. And I asked him to call me back because I wanted to talk about my frustrations, right? And again,
I'm surprised a millennial picked up the phone. I'm pretty impressed with that, Steve.
Well,
good job.
That should tell you how pissed off I am.
Yeah.
So, and again, you know, I have coached children as young as 3 years old in soccer, right? I am no stranger to somebody coming into a sport that they have no knowledge about and working with them to make things fun and exciting. So this guy calls me back literally right before I hop on here with you guys. And I explained to him, like, look, you know, first off, dude, you were 15 minutes late. You know, we spent $160 on this session and you showed up 15 minutes late. And then no coaching happened at all for at least 50 minutes. And by the time anybody tried engaging with a child, they were disinterested. They were upset. You know, the kids weren't having a good time. And you know what this guy says to me? This guy goes, well, I've been doing this for 30 years and I've been doing it the same way for 30 years. And I know more than you because I've been doing hockey for 30 years. And I said, look, buddy, I'm a coach myself. I coach children younger than 5. Okay. I know a thing or two about motivating kids and getting them excited for something, you know? And then this guy's like, well, you know, you're all up in here getting angry with me. And it's like, yeah, because you made my kid upset. You did nothing. You charged $160 for glorified rink time. You know, he's refunding the money, but to add insult to injury, my son signed up for another hockey program. It's through BAHA, Burlington Area Hockey Association, I think is what it is, right? I literally called the president of the board for that program. And I was like, look, I just had a fucking miserable experience with my son in hockey. Please tell me your program is nothing like this. The guy gets back to me within 2 minutes by email. He says, here's my cell phone number. Call me up. We'll talk through it. Turns out I went to college with this guy, which was just hysterical. We were laughing about how, oh, shit, like I recognize you. But he assured me that they follow the U.S. Hockey Youth Development Program. So it's very structured. They focus on making sure kids are having fun and engaged and that they're learning, but also enjoying themselves. And it was music to my ears. These are 2 people. One of them is stuck in fucking 1980, living the glory days when he was a hockey player. And the other one is like, you know what? All the people on this board are parents. I've never played hockey before, but I am dedicated to making sure these kids have a good time. And we're going to make sure these kids have a good time. And he's telling me about the program. He's telling me about all the, you know, fun shit they're going to do. And it's, Mike, you'll understand this. It's exactly the type of thing that Todd does for kids through Farpost Soccer.
There you go.
Night and day.
Good. Well, I'm glad you found the one.
And your kid wants to play hockey, stay far away from Full Stride because those guys are fucking assholes. Just elitist, arrogant pricks. And I hope each and every one of them gets a call from somebody. Hey, I listened to you, to Wicked Spursy, and
I'm sure they will.
fuck you guys. You're an asshole.
Losing listeners by the minute over here, aren't we?
The 35 people have just unsubscribed.
Steve,
I can't believe this guy's talking about this. All right, that's enough ranting from me. But holy shit, dude, I've never been more irate before in my life. You know, Isaac has tried basketball, baseball, soccer, hockey. He does martial arts, you know, karate, jujitsu. I have never seen a worse coach in my life. And that includes when I was a child participating in youth sports. That was the worst coach in my entire life, bar none.
Well, you know who's not a worse coach? Thomas Frank.
There we go, Mike. Take it away. Put us back on the right track. You should put a timestamp here so people who don't want to listen to my ranting and rambling can get to the good stuff.
I'm going to mark that clip right there. Marked. We're 16 minutes in. We haven't talked about soccer. So let's talk about soccer. We had a match last weekend. Back to the league matches. We were playing Everton away, you know, at their brand new park. I automatically, straight off, assumed we were going to get beat.
Ditto.
You know, we're coming out of the break. We have injuries galore that are piling up again. So here we go. Can't blame it on Ange, right? Christian Romero's not playing. In steps Kevin Danso, and you know,
shocker, Christian Romero with a knock. Am I right?
So I automatically assumed we were going to lose. That we were going to lose this game. For all of those reasons. Turns out we had a pretty good game, man. It was a well played game. The shit that I gave Bentancur in the previous weeks, you know, played out a little differently. He looked a little more confident. The entire team looked a little more confident, with the exception of one Xavi Simons for me. And I think that, you know, Jed Spence is kind of being found out a little bit offensively speaking. But outside of that, like, I think Tottenham is the way that Frank is coaching. We're starting to build something, and from the ground up, which, you know, the ground up, the base is your defense in any sport, really, right? So you build from the ground up, make a strong base, and then you work on the little things as they come. The next thing is set pieces. The next thing is you know, attacking presence, controlling midfield, making good tackles, winning 50-50 balls, winning your duels, that kind of stuff. I was fully enjoying what I saw in that Everton match. Steve, do you have any thoughts on that Everton match? Because look, I mean, yes, we scored 2 corner kicks, right? 3 headers in all. I mean, what were you seeing out of that match that you know, gives you a lot of hope for the future?
Mickey Van de Ven. I mean, that he's an Adonis as far as I'm concerned. He's just an immaculate player. It's honestly making me happy to see that he's got the captain armband out there in the absence of Romero. You know, there's a guy who, you know, for all the injury he had last season, he's been showing up. And it's not just him either, right? The other players seem to understand what they're doing on these set pieces by and large, right? There's a couple of brain fart moments out there, but by and large, the set pieces are really solid. And to have him executed that well is just, honestly, it's refreshing, especially when you consider that they've been kind of well, you know, I still harken back to the days of, well, is Eriksen going to beat the first man on this corner? Probably not. Right. So now it's interesting we've got a corner, like, you know, Mokuda's out there is going to, you know, whip it in and maybe something's going to come of it. It's exciting in that context. Right. And it kind of makes up for the lack of penetration that we have in open play. Right. Kind of, not entirely, because that is a big issue that I have. the penetration. I think I texted you at some point, like, I'm happy for Mickey, but I want to get the rest of the team some Viagra so that they can penetrate.
Hey-o.
Open play, awful. Set pieces, fantastic, right? I'm thrilled for Mickey. I'm thrilled for his brace. I was hoping he would get the hat trick, but I guess we can't have it all. And I'm ecstatic that Everton lost, of course.
Dave, I mean, I know you've been absent from the podcast, but you haven't been absent from our beloved Spurs. What's your take on not just Everton, but like the season in general? Like, how have you seen this team change and progress? From what we saw last year.
Cool question, actually. With regard to Everton, was not able to watch that match, so that was one of those I was following by phone. Just you guys, we've all been there. Sounds like Steve was probably there yesterday while he was controlling his anger. But yeah, just watching us go up 1-0, 2-0, and then 3-0 late in that match. Mike, I fully expected a Spurs loss on the road at Everton, new stadium, right? That was a given in my mind. So cool to see. I do want to say trends I've observed, things that I think are intriguing. Our form on the road has been largely very good. Our form at home has not been that great, and I don't see those. I don't see those as being equal. I think that at home form tends to be a little overrated. I think away form is a much better indicator of the quality of a club, just because how you can navigate a hostile environment, et cetera. Like there's much more impact negatively possible on the road than you can ascribe to like having some sort of jinx at home. I just don't buy that whole thing. So there's something there that I think is intriguing. I love the pragmatism that I see this year compared to Ange era ball. And, I was never an Ange out guy, but looking on in hindsight, like it's clear that project was eventually destined to end with battered bodies and a manager that was hitting the road. I think the evolution that we've seen this year, even in the first little segment of the season, has been kind of, I'm not gonna say it's been kind of cool, but what I've seen is, like a somewhat non-existent midfield that's more lockdown oriented than it is, getting the ball through oriented. And so we had a certain style of play with that. But like you look at yesterday's match against Newcastle and you've got Pap out there and you got Lucas out there and you start to see the ball moving through the midfield. And unfortunately, what I saw yesterday was we had this weird combination of not enough chances created, but also we had too many chances created that we didn't do anything with, and I'm seeing these patterns where if Kudus isn't on the pitch, we're in trouble, because that's where real creativity comes from at the moment. Javi, Richarlison, and Brennan Johnson, I thought sucked yesterday. All three of them didn't earn their wages, and I think there's some real concerns there. I think Javi is at risk of being one of those guys that maybe doesn't work out, and maybe that's a hasty assessment. But I think there's possibly some concern there just from his size and strength standpoint. He's getting the crap beat out of him. But overall, going back to what Steve said about like set pieces and everything, I love that part of our team has emerged, and there's some focus to it. We all know that what you focus on getting better at, you will get better at. The challenge becomes, how do you get better at one thing that you really, really need to improve without abandoning all the other things that are also still important? And it seems like Frank is still trying to sort that out. But all that said, like with the lack of beauty that I think has come through in our play so far this year, still sitting third in the table, in a weird table, right? Like, you look at Bournemouth up there, you look at Sunderland up there, it's still way, way early, but sitting third at the table. And I don't think we're at even 30% of our potential at the moment. Like, that's a really, really cool place to be for this particular moment in time. So those are my thoughts at the moment.
Would you be surprised if I told you that 60% of our goals came from open play?
That 60% of our goals came from open play?
25 from set pieces.
Okay, but how many of them came centrally as opposed to wing play?
Right. So
The big issue, I guess, isn't it's not so much open play as it is the over reliance on skilled wingers and next to nothing that comes down the center.
That's valid.
Right. No, that's
It's,
valid.
it's because we don't have a 10 that's doing the job, and we don't have a
I mean,
9.
hell, Everton, right? How many times did you see Kudus and Brennan Johnson on the same side of the field doing the same thing? And then who was on the left, right? Like there was nobody there.
So I think what happened is that, like, in that situation, in the way that, like, we set up, you know, Kudus was set up to be the man in the middle, right? He was supposed to be the man, the middle guy, and he was supposed to be kind of directing traffic in there. And he just still has this tendency to, because of the way that he plays. And the way that he feels comfortable and successful, he keeps drifting further and further out into the left. And I think Brennan was at one point yelling at him, saying, "This is my space. This is my space," you know. And Kudus is like, "No, fuck you. I'm the boss now. You know, I'm the captain now." And I mean, he of that forward line, he is the captain now. Like he's putting up at least an 8.5 probably on average per game. The man is one of the most exciting young players that I've seen in a while. Not just because he comes from Tottenham. We saw another really exciting player yesterday in Big Nick Voltavada, or however you want to I don't know how you want to pronounce his name, but yeah, he's, you know, new age Peter Crouch with strength and speed, with more strength and speed. But like Kudus is like, he can't have the ball taken from him. He's, you know, what we saw of like the early stretches of Decky's play, right? Just refused to have the ball taken off him. Could beat a man. He beats men in different ways than Decky did. Decky would kick it by him and then fight his way around. Whereas, you know, Kudus can beat a man off a dribble pretty quickly and pretty easily. He's just so quick and so strong. So I think that when those two are occupying the same space, it does create a problem, but it also drags defenders out of the center. So I mean, that's why you get guys like Paulinho scoring, you know, sometimes, and that's why you see Bentancur scoring, or you'll see Mickey pop in there and score. Mickey's got 5 goals now.
I know he's leading the team. That's crazy. Mike, you mentioned Spence, and I think he said getting found out offensively. And here's my take.
He's on the wrong side.
That aside, no pun intended there. His body language sucks, and he's being lazy. You know what I mean? Like we could talk about the set piece goal, the Newcastle guy yesterday, and the fact that it was unfair how the referee started play before he was ready. But let's be honest, if Spence is actually hustling and not farting around, just taking his sweet time, it's less of an issue. But his body language off the ball, or when something doesn't go his way, sucks. Big time sucks. Right. And for me, that's concerning. I don't know how you feel about it.
Maybe I'll let Steve talk about it too, but maybe that has something to do with why he was left out of teams early on, you know, why he was left off the team sheet. I think that like a lot of, and I think, you know, he plays into his own press sometimes. He got his England call up, right? Mm-hmm. And rightfully so. He's playing really, really well. I also think that he's very right-footed, and you know, the fact that when he's attacking, and we knew him as an attacking player when he came in, right? We thought he was going to be this great attacking player. He was going to be this great wingback in Conte's system. But now when he's playing, he's so right-footed that he has that tendency to kind of still drift to the middle, mm-hmm. and he gets stuck in. He gets caught in traps a lot, and loses the ball. Defensively, I think he's been mostly very, very good. Like the first few games of the season, like he hadn't been beaten, you know. So, and we knew straight up that that was his weakness, was a defensive play. But Steve, what do you make of like where Spence is right now in in his Tottenham, not just in his Tottenham career, but like in this season, especially because it is a different system. He's playing in a different system. He's expected to do different things.
And Steve, could I ask, just to add to that question, when Destiny's healthy, what happens to Spence? I'm curious your thoughts on that.
Destiny takes over for now. So my gut feeling is that it's not so much that Spence is playing into it. I think the way his personality is set up, when he's got that competition and he has to fight for his space, high performer. He's fantastic, right? When it's kind of given to him and there's nobody, biting at his ankles to take over, and he's kind of like a necessity on the team sheet. I think that's when the arrogance and the laziness kind of comes into play. And this isn't unique to Spence, by the way. There are a lot of players out there, both for Tottenham and for other teams, who, when they are considered undroppable, their performances dip, right? Maybe they show up every once in a while to justify the price tag, but by and large, they're and I can't say this for certain, but I feel like they think, okay, well, I'm not going to get dropped, so I don't have to put the extra effort in, right? Why should I have to hustle and exhaust myself if I'm going to be first name on the team sheet anyway? And honestly, it's why I really appreciate Frank as a coach, because he will see that and he will bench the person, right? If there is another option available. Our injuries are making it a little bit more of a challenge, I think, to do just that. But I do believe that if the squad is fit and healthy, that type of attitude doesn't survive a Thomas Frank system. I do think that he would be sat down for Destiny and for Porro on the right, and he would be, fighting for those minutes. And that's honestly probably good for him, right? And I think early in the season when he was high flying, he kind of earned it, right? You would see the arrogance out there, him posting in social media about having all these people in his pocket and being able to shut down opposition wingers. And you kind of want that arrogance, right? You kind of want that fight and like, I got you. I'm better than you. I'm going to do it. But when you stop backing it up, it becomes problematic to the team, right? And I think he's lucky right now that we do have a bit of an injury crisis that keeps him in the squad, because I do think that given the opportunity, he would be benched for, Destiny.
I think
Absolutely.
that's well put, Steve. That's really well put. Mike, can I pivot a question to you on a different player? Speaking of injury crises and guys having to play, I've been pretty impressed with Kevin Danso. I want to know what your take on Danso and a bit of leadership in the back line there is.
What a player we have there. Like, I thought there was going to be a big drop off from Romero, and they're different players, right? I think that, as I think Danso doesn't have necessarily the passing range of a Romero, but he does have that ability to find himself in really good positions. I think he's big, he's strong. He's not as fast as he said he was in his in his interview, his signing interview.
Yeah.
But he's got a really great mind. The way he thinks and the way he thinks quickly, like we never saw that in a Dragushin, right? We never saw that like in any of the other replacements for Romero. So I love this. I call him Big Kev.
Big Kev.
I love watching him play. I love how he sticks himself into places.
Yeah. Do you see the look he gave Kinski when Kinski like blew that goal situation yesterday with the kind of punch out of position?
Yeah, exactly. It was like that was that's another thing we can talk about too, is like but I think that like the way that his mind thinks and the way that he's able to put himself in good positions before anything, any run of play happens, he's always he seems to be in the right position all the time. And does that mean that he's going to continue that? I mean, who knows? We were praising Jed Spence for his play, and now we're saying, hey man, there's some accountability there, right? Who knows what's going to happen in the future? But like, I think that somebody like Kevin Danso is going to thrive in a Frank system. He's not an Ange defender, right? Neither was Radu for what it's worth, and he'll be back hopefully soonish, because we do need defenders. But and we weren't sure how Mickey was gonna survive in Frank's system, and Mickey seems to be surviving very well. I mean, these are players who don't necessarily need to be in a certain system to be able to be successful. So I think that Kevin Danso is one of my favorite players out there right now. And not to mention, dude can throw the fucking ball, man. Holy shit. Lucas the other day, like we were watching that Everton match, and he's like, oh, he's not allowed to have a towel now. We're not at home. He's not allowed to have a towel now. Let's see what happens. And he can still throw the fucking ball in that rain, right? I mean, he makes play dangerous in different ways offensively than Romero. Romero's got that passing range. Romero dribbles well, right? Romero is a little bit hasty sometimes in some of his tackles. I think that's where Danso has the leg up on him, is that he's smarter going into his tackles. He's smarter with his positioning. I like Romero because he's a fucking wild card, and you never know what you're going to get. And that's kind of appealing to me. But like Danso provides that stability back there that, and I think he's actually forming a really nice partnership with Mickey. And it's looking like maybe we can sell Romero. But for me right now, what we really need is some more options. And if it were me in January, I'm going after a left back. When Udogie is healthy, I'm going after a left back, because Pedro Porro cannot continue to play the minutes he's playing. Like, it's going to hurt him. It hurt him last year. It's going to hurt him. It's going to hurt him again.
Before you jump onto Porro some more, I just want to first off double down on the Danso praise, because he is fantastic. And it's not just, I think, us singing his praises either. Like, I check the Reddit posts and whatnot, and I think the highest praise that I've seen so far was a guy on Reddit who referred to Danso as our new Mr. 7 out of 10. Just super reliable. You plug him in, you don't have to really worry about, is he going to be up for it? Is he going to be able to handle the pressure? He shows up, he puts in a good performance. He may not be a flashy player like Romero is with the passing and the aggression, but he doesn't often put a step wrong. He works well with the guys around him. And, sometimes that's all you need from a defender, especially one who is, in there for squad rotation more than, number one starter. So I'm high on Danso as well. And honestly, if anybody was going to take Ben Davies, Mr. 7 out of 10, I would absolutely give it to him, because he's deserving of it so far.
I like that, Steve. And I also just want to add, we thought of Danso in like he's the number 2 with Romero in partnership or with Mickey in partnership, depending on who's hurt, right? But what we saw yesterday is Polina back there, and Danso is having to lead the center backs with Polina. And I think Polina is a fantastic signing. I think between Kudus and Polina, the summer was successful in and of those two signings, not worried about anybody else. But
great way to build, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. The fact that Danso led that with a guy who's not used to that, kind of doing the Archie Gray tactic, right? Like bringing back a midfielder. I mean, really, really impressed with what I saw, regardless of giving up 2 goals. They were both strange goals, and on a different day might not have happened. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Let's talk Vicario. A couple weeks ago, I gave him a lot of shit. He gets risky when he doesn't need to be risky. He sometimes, actually, I think yesterday we saw flashes of why, people were calling for Kinski because of his distribution. He made a couple of kicks out of under extreme pressure where Jed played it to him while he was being pressed up on pretty hard. And he got the ball out for a counterattack, like fast, like and created a bit of a chance for us. But Vicario, his last two games, our European match and the Everton match, like the way he is a shot, the way he stops shots, the position that he puts himself in when he knows shots are coming, right? Obviously we have figured out a way to now stop those worldies from happening, right? Those long distance fizzers, right? That you don't necessarily expect are coming as a keeper, initially. But when guys are running at him, he just has a brain that allows him to be in the right position to make the save at the right time. His hands, his legs are all in the right positions. And he uses every part of his body to stop shots. And it was, he sent in our chat the other day that 2 games in a row now, one in Europe, one in the league, where Vicario's had 10 out of 10 performances, and basically saved games for us. We saved a draw and basically won the game for us with the, in Everton, at Everton. So, how do you feel, Dave, like as Vicario, as going in, is he the goalkeeper of the future? Is Kinski the goalkeeper of the future? Is there somebody else that we haven't seen yet? Because like neither one of these guys are well-rounded goalkeepers yet, right?
Yeah, definitely. Brandon
the
Austin, definitely. that's the guy. He's just biding his time, just waiting. But like
he comes off his line, he's like a little bit wild-eyed. He's bigger and stronger than he was.
I mean, listen, what is a perfect goalkeeper, right? A perfect goalkeeper can distribute, they can block shots, they can command the entire backfield. Like there are very, very few perfect goalkeepers. So if you're going to make me choose attributes, I'll take the shot stopper, because that's ultimately what wins and loses games. Skillfully passing out of the back has an impact, but it doesn't win or lose games. So to me, Vicario is at least the goalie for the near future, for the next several years. Maybe he's not a decade from now Hugo Lloris type of scenario, but I think he's at least the guy for the next few years until a replacement for him can emerge. Maybe that's Kinski, maybe it's not, but Kinski has good instincts on shot stopping, but he's not of the skill set of Vicario. So that's my take. I find it amusing because Vicario still looks like a 12-year-old kid when you look at him in the face. So it's always funny when you see him kind of yelling at his teammates about mistakes they've made. And he just doesn't look like he has the authority to be yelling at a teammate just because of his face. That probably sounds terrible. Sorry, Vicario, if you're listening. But
what a dumb face.
What a dumb face. That's been said about me before too. But I do appreciate his effort to try to manage and lead, from that role. That's my take.
What's interesting to me, and I am curious if this was the Spurs leadership planning and bringing Kinski in. Vicario's 29, Kinski's 22, right? Vicario, in theory, for a goalkeeper, is coming into his prime.
Mm-hmm.
These next few years are going to be prime Vicario years, right? Kinski has some time to develop still as a goalkeeper, and I think getting some of the matches, these cup matches, where he's able to step up and get the experience, play with the squad, I think they're invaluable. I could see a situation in which by the time Vicario is on his downhill, we could promote Kinski up and then replace Vicario with the next up and coming goalkeeper and kind of keep that cycle going. To me,
Austin will be like 35 by then, right? Something like that. But he'll only have 3 professional.
He'll be Joe Hart. He'll be Joe Hart without the cups.
That's exactly right.
Or who was the guy back in the day we kept bringing back every year? I can't remember.
Man, Dave, it's so nice to have you back asking questions. You got another one for us. I just keep them coming.
There was one on my mind, and I haven't been able to say this for a little while, but I'm wondering, hey, Mike, what you drinking?
You know what? I wish Wendy were here. I did buy this
You want
specifically.
Wendy to ask that instead? Wow, low
You know,
blow there.
if Wendy were here, Steve would not have gone on his opening rant.
Oh, I still would have.
For 16. No, but you wouldn't have gone 16 minutes with it, because you would have been like, hey, we've got Wendy here. We probably should give our English friend time to talk, you know. But hey, it worked out the way it's supposed to.
I love you.
Yeah,
You're
we would have
a
had to have been
fantastic
respectful
person,
with his time.
wonderful human being. But if somebody is going to slight my son, I am going for the jugular, and I will go through whoever I need to make sure that person gets what they deserve.
Even at the expense
it's probably
of
a good
Wendy.
thing he skipped out, because he doesn't deserve to have his time trodden on, like Mike. Dave, I apologize to you specifically.
Oh, good. I was just listening to Mike talk about how our special guest wasn't able to join us today. I was like, damn, I guess that makes me a special guest sidekick, huh?
Well, your dad. So
Dad, all right. Very, very nice.
Finally came
back so I got
from getting the milk and cigarettes, right?
Dave, I love it when you ask that question.
I love to ask it.
I got this beer at the beverage warehouse. Importers of all fine European and Asian beers.
By the way, Nate discovered that place a couple months ago. He's been like reporting to me his amazement at the
these ones just came in. I haven't seen them there before. It's Coniston Brewing. It's in Cumbria. If we want to go there. Right.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, it's in Cumbria. It's the Lake region, apparently. I looked up where Cumbria was, and it's the Lake region. The Lake District, actually. So this is Bluebird Bitter. It's Coniston Brewing. It's Bluebird Bitter, English Pale Ale. But this one is made. Excuse me. This one is made with American Aroma hops.
Sorry, Protestant Brewing.
Nope, Coniston.
Okay, just making sure.
I can't trust you. I knew when Dave was going to be on that you were going to go crazy, go off the rails, and try and disrupt my favorite segment. This beer comes in a
do a great job disrupting your favorite segment. Dan from Full Stride Hockey, Vermont. Fuck that guy.
He's been doing it 30 years. You can't talk to that guy. 30 years.
30 years.
So this beer was made
with, because a lot of programs redevelop and
reel it in.
Streamline, but I'm taking up Mike's beer time. My final thoughts are going to be to slam Dan some more. Don't you worry.
Go
ahead, Mike. Get on with it.
So yeah, okay. This is an English bitter. It's an English pale ale. Going to be golden in color. It's made with American hops. Now, it's made with Mount Hood hops. Now, on this bottle, it says that it says Bluebird combines two of the great themes of ale brewing to produce something distinctive and new. Fine tradition of English pale ale is about quaffing, refreshment, and complexity of flavor without alcoholic strength. So it's a sessionable beer. It says, then throw in new wave American hop variety, Mount Hood, which is not new wave, with robust citrus aromas. Not too much, mind, or we might have an American pale ale on our hands. Now, Mount Hood comes from Hallertau hops. It's like it's a derivative of one of the German noble hops, and it is known as an American noble hop. It's used in pilsners. It's used in lagers. It's used in America, but I mean Hallertau is used in it's like one of the main aroma hops in Kolsch style ales. So I don't know where they get citrus from, because the Mount Hood hops are not citrusy at all. So they have a little bit of spice to them. They're going to be a little bit earthy, and they're going to lend a quality doesn't make the beer super, super, super bitter. And it'll be easily drinkable. Look at this beer. Look at this beer, though.
All I can think is, like, is this a Vermont rap group, Mount Hood? Am I not familiar with this?
That's terrible, Steve. Absolutely terrible.
As I expect Vermont rap would be.
Concur.
I'm gonna send you something, and you're gonna change your mind. But
I hope so. Please, I love new
this
music.
beer is bottle conditioned, which means it's secondary fermented in the bottle. Lots of times you'll move from a primary ferment, you drop it into a secondary. A lot of the stuff drops out of it. This is done in the bottle. It creates CO2. It allows some of the stuff that generally floats in the beer as it's being fermented and brewed to drop out and sit at the bottom of the bottle. It allows the beer to change in the complexity of its flavors over time. I love this beer. This beer is so goddamn drinkable. It is 4.4%.
I thought you were giving a rating. I was like, damn, I didn't even have a chance to put my number in yet.
No, it's 4.4% alcohol. That means this is 1 pint, 9 ounces. That would be an imperial pint. I can't say enough about this beer. I can say enough about this beer because I'm going to end it in about 2 seconds here. If everybody's ready for my rating,
Steve, you see what I did there, Steve?
You did something?
I went on the spreadsheet, my man.
Shit! I did not.
Getting my Google on over here.
Oh, you have the spreadsheet. I forget.
Just give us the number.
4.4.
Steve,
Damn it.
open the spreadsheet right now. Look at it. Look at the number sitting on there. My hands are here.
I believe you. I went with 4.3 because I heard 4.4 and I thought surely he's not going to do that.
Dude, it's a 4.4. It's a 4.4% alcohol by volume, and it's a 4.4 in my book. Dude, this beer, I'm going to go back and get a case of them if I could afford it.
So, Mike, that I was going to go 4.1.
I don't know. This beer is very good.
When you said 4.4% alcohol, I'm like, nope, he likes it. He's going 4.4 because he's going to like that synergy. Boom, put it in there. It's there. But here's what I want to say to you. I've noticing some interesting trends here, like having stepped away and re-entering the fray. You know, your average rating, Mike, since December of last year is 3.825. I always have talked
shitty beers.
I've always talked to you about like grade inflation a little bit. And I do feel like the ratings, either the ratings have just become naturally inflated or your choices are trending toward all being in the 3 and 4 range. You have not done a sub 3 rating since the Kelsey Brothers beer in February, just to give you an example. That was the last one you did that was below 3. I think you might want to reassess your calibration and think about how you're landing with your assessment.
I had to power through that 12-pack of beer. I don't know why I bought it.
I also want to point out that Brian from Rhode Island, man, that dude has some lofty freaking ratings, like 4 6s, 4 7s. I don't know if Brian understands the scoring quite yet, but
no, it's because he doesn't drink beer.
Fair point.
He's like one of the 7 people on the fucking planet who's allergic to hops.
Very fair point.
I think I asked him one time, what happens when you drink hops? When you drink beer? I don't get it. And he goes, it causes me to die.
He's like, I make bad decisions and get loud.
That's just beer, buddy. Like,
this beer is so fucking good, dude.
it's the antithesis of Dan from Full Stride.
Yep.
Fuck that guy.
Mike, what's a player? You got a player comparison?
Oh, we haven't done a player in a long time.
Yeah,
Well,
the last one you
fucking
did was
Dave's here.
August
Do it now.
18th, it appears.
Mohamed Kudus.
There you go.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Dude, he's so fucking good right now.
God.
Like, you want to talk about a guy who's undroppable?
Wait, what is it? What is it that the football pundits always say about high performing people of color in the league? They're class acts.
Is that what they say?
Every time, I guarantee, if you're listening to any football pundit talk about a high performer in the NFL, if they're a person of color, they're always described as a class act.
No racism inherent in that statement whatsoever.
It's 100% there, and I think it's like the most obvious thing, because if you point it out, I guarantee they're like, well, how can we be racist? We're saying good things about them. Yeah, but you're saying the same good thing only about people of color. If it's a white person, it's a completely different turn of phrase. But
There's gonna be some heavy editing in this.
Hey, speaking of football, can I just embrace for the moment, probably the first time in 5 years, that my Chicago Bears are a better team than your Giants or your Commanders? Can we just give that its brief moment in the sun?
Dave,
We can.
Cool.
Dave,
my running back dislocated his ankle.
He did. He broke his fibula.
Yeah.
He broke his fibula too. Yeah, he got poor kid.
I don't think dude, he deserved it.
Him
He
and
deserved it.
Dart there are the
It's
only
the way he
two
plays. The way
that
he
give me
plays,
hope.
he's a lunatic.
He's
he
the
doesn't know how to
Vicario of
control
the New York
himself.
Giants.
Mike, I don't disagree with that. I maybe deserved it is a bit harsh, but his
No, he's a
playing,
giant. He's a New York Giant. He deserved it.
his playing style is going to predispose him to those types of things happening to him, right?
Yeah, yeah. Nice way to put it, Dave. Thank you.
Yeah, I try to be as classy as possible. On the other hand, your Commanders just having a bad run of injury luck, man.
Talk about injuries. Holy shit.
Yeah.
We get Sam Cosmi back and Laramie Tunsil goes out. You know?
Yeah. Hey, the Bears lose to the Ravens the other night with a backup quarterback, but they also don't have any defensive secondary starters still playing for them. Like they're just wrecked.
Washington beat him, so not even with Jaden. Yeah. So that was Hey Mike, what you drinking?
Oh yeah,
and
that's what we were doing.
I'm still drinking this Coniston Brewing Bluebird Bitter. It's really good. It won some awards at the World Beer Festival. So, man, it's fucking good. So we'll just leave that there. Let's move on. Talking about our upcoming schedule. Steve, what do you see, man?
What do you see?
Well, outside of Chelsea.
Outside of dude. I can't not talk Chelsea though. I want us to win so badly, but our home form right now is not great. And I don't know. That feels to me like it's going to be disappointing. Every time we play Chelsea, every time I really hope that the team shows up and gives the same aggression that we saw in the famous Battle of the Bridge. But I always feel like since that game, it's just been a letdown by and large.
Yep.
I'm hoping for the best, but I'm honestly expecting the worst there. Maybe having some of our players who are, injured, rested for Newcastle, like Odegaard, maybe that helps in some way. I don't see how it does, but I don't know, man. I don't feel good about it.
Steve, I hate to say it. The next two matches before the break, Chelsea Saturday and then Tuesday, Copenhagen. And we're going to see. We had a late Sunday game, and that was a slight excuse for this latest result yesterday with Newcastle. Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, and then Tuesday, there's not time for people to get healthy. There's going to be the built-in excuse of, we're just beat up and we have to get into the break. I unfortunately think we're going to see 2 losses or let's just say maybe 2 non-wins in these next 2 matches. And another non-win in Europe concerns me. We can't keep getting draws, if we're gonna keep making noise there. But that's my take.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we have an opportunity at Chelsea, and here's why. Sunderland. There's a
different team.
No, I understand. There are similarities to the way we play right now. That's the way that Sunderland plays. Strong back 4 to 6. Defensively, I think that we're not going to suffer some of the bullshit that we suffered in the past 2 seasons against Chelsea. I feel like our ability to defend is going to keep the game close at the very least. And I think that our set piece efficiency is going to, it can shine through here. I think that we have players, some attacking players that can make some noise. The drawback that I see going into this game is just, and I hate to say it, but because I'm a next man up guy, but it's injuries. It's injuries and it's lack of availability of players in specific positions. And we haven't talked about Archie's injury and the fact that he's going to be out for the next 8 weeks, right? So he's not an option anymore. And there was a time where I was calling for Archie to replace Bentancur. But I think, the thing about Tottenham is that we have to find some consistency in our midfield, because I think if we don't have midfield consistency, especially in the attack, it renders our attackers useless. And which generally they have been. We can talk about Xavi, but I think Xavi is a guy, and he's not a guy who's gone out there and given up, right? He's still working very hard. You can see that he's working very hard, and I think that he holds himself to account for the way he's playing. And I think he's as much disappointed about the way he's playing and the way that he's progressing as the fans are. But I think once we have some midfield consistency, obviously away, you have to use that double pivot. I know Steve fucking hates it. Or he hates it when it's Bentancur and Palhinha. Away, you have to do that because
not as much as you used to hate Sissoko and Winks, right?
It's about the same, Dave.
It's about the same. Come on,
recently,
impossible.
Recently, it's been real bad with Steve.
Steve, the Venom man. What's the dealio? That's
Let me tell you, it's all about Dan.
It's all about Dan.
Hockey Dan.
Hockey Dan. I'm going to rename the podcast.
There you go.
But I think that once we have a consistent midfield, I think we're going to be dangerous. And that will have a lot to do with the return of Kulusevski. I think that once Brennan finds a space for himself where he can be consistently good, and he likes to do those kind of marauding runs in from behind, get Tell scoring, get Dom Solanke back. I don't think that we don't have a chance against Chelsea. I think we have a great chance against Chelsea. I think we play very similarly, maybe not as attacking as Sunderland does, or counter-attacking as Sunderland does, but I think that we have as much of an opportunity to win that game as we do to draw it. I don't think we're going to lose against Chelsea. I think we're playing them at home. I think this is the game that's going to turn us around and start to make Tottenham Hotspur Stadium a fortress, like we need it to be. Obviously, we haven't lost an away match yet this year in the league. So, I think all bets are off. It all depends on, what our lineup is going to be, who's going to be back there. Obviously, it's going to be Danso. Obviously, it's going to be Mickey Van de Ven, Pedro Porro, and probably Jed Spence. But
has anybody made sure that Nicky Winks isn't going to that game?
As long as Nicky Winks isn't going to that game, then we're not going to have 7 fucking injuries in one game. But I do think that we have an absolute chance. Now, Copenhagen is a different story. I think Copenhagen we handle pretty easily. Europe's a whole different animal. And I think that the way that we play is going to the physicality that we present is going to be a problem for Copenhagen. Copenhagen, remember that was one of the 2 dips that people used, the 2 tobacco dips.
That's very true.
Copenhagen and Skol, right?
Yep, very, very true.
Anyway, there's no reason that we need to be afraid of a team like Chelsea. I think, especially now that we have a little bit of defensive organization and solidity back there.
Mike, I don't think you're hearing fear from Steve and I. I just think you're hearing pragmatism from Steve and I in terms of
Dave.
how things tend to operate.
Well, you're hearing a lot of anger from me, but it's not related.
You're tempering it though. That's good. Hey, can I don't know if this goes to like closing thoughts or like I'm not trying to take things over here, but can I do a closing thought real quick? Actually,
Yeah,
two
let's
closing
do it.
thoughts. I don't think you mentioned this at the start of the episode, Mike, because we were caught up in the fact that Wendy was unable to join us and then Steve started ranting. But it's my understanding that this particular episode of Wicked Spursy is episode number 200. That's 2 with 2 zeros after it. Can I let you know that out of all podcasts ever created, 2.35% of them have made it to episode 200. That puts us in the above 97th percentile of all podcasts ever created. So I just want to acknowledge that. I think we should also leverage that to if there are any big media conglomerates that are looking to pick up a Spurs related podcast, you know, we have entered really high stratosphere with level of function for this thing. The credit for that goes to you guys for keeping it moving, but it's also, that's a big deal. 200 and that high of a placement in the world, if you will.
Here's the problem, Dave, is that we have one wild card here, and it's not you or I.
Brian from Rhode Island.
I was the wild card. I was the wild card a couple episodes ago, and then I had to go and do some re-editing, but for content. But yeah, it's not me. It's not me.
So this guy,
the guy with the tie-dye sweatshirt on.
But Steve hosts now. Like hosting makes you have to be more dialed in, right, Steve? More. What did you say?
A lunatic.
A lunatic.
Steve, if you have anything that you want to say to for closing thoughts tonight, wait a minute.
Non-hockey related.
non-local club hockey related.
Shit, man. I was gonna rip into this guy again, but we
already spent 15 minutes on him.
16.
Here. I will say this. It has been an absolute pleasure to record 200 episodes of this show. And you know, if anybody wants to hear my favorite moments from throughout the years, maybe you could start with the first 15 minutes of the show. And then honestly, you know, they're all good. I really enjoy all the time that I get to spend, every week ish chatting with Mike and, you know, Dave here just brings back the memories. But yeah, man, the first 15 minutes of this show were really something else. And I highly recommend people listen to that.
You know, Mike, you should since you're the video master, you should edit up like the Seinfeld style compilation episode, you know, where they have the throwaway episode where there's no new content and they just show old scenes from old episodes. You should patch that together and put that product out. That'd be pretty.
I bet I could get like Grok or
some sort of AI to do it for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, probably not Grok. It's Elon's thing. I didn't realize that when I ran some Grok last week, but
no, that's not good. But also, you know, it's worth saying, like flashback to when we created this thing, it was COVID era, right? Which feels like a world ago. So to create something in that world that has persevered, you know, 5 years later. And
we're still getting like 35, 36 downloaders. So that's good.
That's fantastic. That's better than what we had when we started.
Those are people who have forgotten they had that like hit that auto download button.
But it's a cool
just
thing.
Hanging out on their phone somewhere.
Good stuff we created.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna echo that. And I don't need to apologize for Wendy not being here because Wendy has always been ultra amazing. You know, with sharing his time and you know, despite whatever other real life important things that he's got going on. I really want to thank Wendy for always being there for us. Thank Ricky for being there for us, you know, and all the other guests that we've had, all the other podcasts, all the other Spurs podcasters we've had, all the amazing guests we've had from our friend Kamal. You know, he was like one of the first guests that came on, talked to Man U with us, and we had with the sports science episode with Dave's sister and
our boy Jake Berger back in the day.
Jake Berger came on. He's a professional baseball player, plays for the Texas Rangers now. Go check him out because he does have a great platform for his child with special needs. So and donate if you can to that. But yeah, I want to thank everybody, but I do especially want to thank Wendy because Wendy was the first one to, without ever having listened to us, you know, who was just like, yeah, of course I'll do this. And it kind of gave us like the ability to have like that bold, you know, view of like, we can just get anybody now. We got Wendy, we can get anybody. You know, Flav came on even like, and that was probably a mistake for him, career wise.
Hey, don't forget the illustrious Brian from Rhode Island.
And Brian from Rhode Island became a regular here, you know. So
he's a big deal.
He is a big deal. Anything can happen. I mean, Vasconi came on. Like a lot of these big Spurs podcasters who have great ideas and great things to say, and we really, really appreciate it. But again, I always want to thank Wendy because he was the one who kind of pushed us to keep going and gave us the plaudits, you know, when maybe we weren't as deserving. So
now we just need to get a player.
We're just, you know, we started as 3 dudes. Now we're 4, 5, 6 dudes who just go out and just want to talk Tottenham. And sometimes it goes off the rails and we talk about hockey. Sometimes it goes off the rails. We talk about politics or religion or whatever. But anybody who's still here, I want to thank you. And we love and appreciate all of you.
Look, I think in our defense, you know, and I'm going to give a
don't ruin my moment, dude.
I want to give a shout out to your hat, Vermont Green, because I do think that, you know, for a lot of people, you know, soccer, you know, there's no room in soccer to talk about politics or to talk about, you know, this, that, and the other thing. But I disagree. I think for me, sport, whether it's soccer, hockey, football, whatever it is all about community, right? And community is nothing if not all of the above, right? It's the people that make it up. It's the events that impacts us. And I think it's disingenuous for us to think our little soccer podcast is, you know, in isolation away from everything else that's going on out there, right? I think it's important that we bring that into the conversation because there is a lot that rides on it, right? And I think Vermont Green in particular does a great job at reminding our community that these things, the environment, you know, immigration, politics, all that stuff, it plays into it. You know, it plays into soccer, it plays into our conversations, it plays into our lives. And I really appreciate that, you know, throughout the years, we've kind of used our platform as a way to bridge the gap between those two worlds in a meaningful way. I'm glad that we share our thoughts, and you know, even though we might not always agree with one another, we're still open to listen and be respectful and you know, give people the support that they need when they need it. So, you know, you guys can pat yourselves on the back. Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I have
double pats from Dave. Ooh.
Yeah, double.
I have really, really bad shoulders. So, you know,
man, if you only knew a place to get an X-ray.
I think what I've got, X-rays can't touch. So,
well, if you need to get it touched, do it quickly before insurance premiums skyrocket. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm not going to a doctor anytime soon.
Yeah, it's sad when you start to say like avoid at all costs when it comes to getting your health taken care of, right? Not a good thing.
Fantastic.
Yep, it is what it is. Dave, you want to drive us home?
Yeah, all right. Well, it's been a little while. As we wrap things up, just curious if you have any final words. Steve, as we're saying goodbye to our 200 episode loyal listeners, what would you say to people?
Coys.
And
don't be an asshole, Dan.
Especially you, Dan. And Mike, how about you?
You know, the world's crazy out there, guys.
Sure is. Weather's
I
changing.
just want everybody to go out there be safe. And this is a new one, Dave. Protect your mental health at
Mm.
all costs. And also, you know what? Talk to your neighbors. Just go out, have a conversation.
Look, I already had one phone call today, Mike. I'm
Yeah,
tapped out
I
on
think you've
conversation.
gone too far with that last one there, man.
He's not
You
your
know,
neighbor, Steve, and he doesn't like you.
I don't like him either. He better watch himself.
Star Wars reference. And Tottenham Hotspur action. It's Franktastic.
Ooh.
And
Hey.
there's no.